Now let's very quickly put these things into work. With just what we've learned already, you can actually do a lot. So let's look at this. I've got four images. We've got this light bulb image that we saw before. I added a lens flare, and we have another image that's just this texture. You can take textures from anywhere, from like the sides of buildings or whatever. It's nice to kind of start collecting textures because you can add them to your files really, really easily, like old paper or metal or, concrete or whatever. And you can find them everywhere online too, but I'm constantly using those just to add little effects. And now the final one is this cool little swervy thing. These are all just stock photos from various places that, once you work as a graphic designer, you just get memberships at different places. I think this is Dollar Photo Club that I use a lot. And then there's freeimages.com or .org. But anyway, there's just do a Google search for free stock images that have no attribution. Okay, that's important. Okay, now let's say, for example, I want to take this image of the lens flare and only have the white parts go on top. I want to have it look like it's coming from this light. Let me click on this guy. And how do we do that? If you can remember, think for 1 second, how would you make just the white parts of this image go through? All right, if you said the screen mode in the blending modes, you would be absolutely correct. So let's move this down. And I'm just, clicking on the layer with the select tool, this guy right here, just clicking on it and moving it around. And I'm going to put it kind of over this image. I don't want to put it in the middle because that just looks a little, it doesn't look right. So I'm going to move it over to the side and make it look like this light bulb is glowing a little bit. Okay. Now the problem we run into is now that I've moved this layer, you see this line, and it means that there was just a little bit of white information here at the edge. So there's a couple of ways we can change this, but the way that we've already learned how to do it is to go down to our layer mask, click that, when this is selected, click on our layer mask, okay, and then we're going to click the brush tool, which we're going to talk about later, and you can change the brush. I'm going to tell you real quick, we'll learn about this all later, don't worry about it, but in order to change the size of your brush, you want to click curly brackets right or curly brackets left, and that will change the size. You can also change how hard or soft the brush is up here. Okay, this is a palette, but we're going to get to all that later. This is just to give you a demonstration of the layer mask. So we're going to go over here, and don't worry about that. We're going to just color this part in with black. So now it blends together. You don't see it anymore. That line is gone. And a lot of Photoshop is just blending things so it looks right to your eye. Now moving right along, let's go up one layer and we have this guy. Now what do we do if we want to add this texture to the image? Well, probably the best two ways that we have right now would be multiply, which would take all the dark information and put it over on top of this, or overlay. Okay, now I think overlay works pretty good, but it doesn't work when it's 100%. So what I'll do is I'll go over here and I'll take down the opacity. And you can see that it's going to just add this texture on top of the image. Okay. Now multiply actually does a pretty good job. So you could do multiply and see if you like that better. There's no right or wrong. But I just want to show you what these things do. And now let's go up here to this guy. We'll leave that. I'm not crazy about that, so I'm going to turn that off. Now let's go up to this top guy, and we've got this cool little line. Now what if we want to add this line here to the image and just give it a little bit of oomph, I'll call it. Well, we want to get rid of the white part and just have this part, the wave part showing, okay? So again, we can just do multiply and see what we get. Okay, that's pretty cool. That actually, it doesn't work great. Okay, so it doesn't work great over here, but it kind of works over here, and then we have this line here. So the next step is what? Go down to the layers, layer mask, click on that, and then we're going to draw black in all the areas that we don't want it to appear. Okay, let's draw that out and draw that out. Okay. And this blue doesn't really match. So, we'll go into changing colors and things like that, but I just wanted to give you an example of how you would start combining images together and making them look, I do this. This is one of the most important things that I do with Photoshop, is just to start combining layers and making them all flow and kind of work together. And as you can see now, okay, all of these elements are coming together. You've got this lens flare. You've got this guy. If you want to add the, the element on top, doesn't really look that great. But sometimes if you bring that down, the opacity down a little bit, it adds just a little bit of texture. This actually works a lot better on pictures. If you're taking a picture of somebody and you want it to make it look older, or if you're doing an ad and you want to take, for example, like when I do posters for movies, I'll overlay, kind of a rough texture on the top, and it'll just add this realism to it, and it'll get everything in the image will have this texture to it. So we'll touch on that later. I'm probably going to do a skill lecture on creating posters or creating like the aged look. So we'll use this a lot more. But I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of things that you can do with the skills that we've already touched on.